What's going on, everybody? Kriddle here, back again with another Save the World weapon review, and today we're going to be talking about the Ranger. If you don't already have this weapon, you can come over here to the item shop. You can try your luck at a couple of upgrade llamas and see if you get one. We'll have to go gold, as this is a legendary weapon, or you can come over here to the armory, come down to the collection book, ranged weapons and double shot rifles. This right here is the Ranger. Click on the research schematics and you can research it for 60 weapon designs and 100 legendary flux. To get weapon designs, you can just break down your rare or higher tier weapons and you can buy legendary flux from the weekly store. So let's go take a look at this weapon and see what kind of stats we can put on it. I'll come over here and take a look at mine. My Ranger is 106 Shadow Shard. I do have it perked up for crit. It is a semi-automatic burst assault rifle. It does fire 2-round burst, and it does increased headshot damage. This weapon also has a base of 15% crit chance and a base of 75% crit damage, making it a good candidate for your crit rating weapon. So let's go take a look at the possibilities here so you guys can see different ways that you might want to build this thing. You may want to copy what I have here, or you may want to do something else. Mine does have the affliction on it. I recommend going with Affliction or Slow and Snared if you guys can get so lucky to get one. You could also potentially go with a headshot perk down here if you really wanted to, but I would not necessarily recommend it. But if that's all you get, that is not necessarily a bad thing on this weapon due to the fact that it does get increased damage from headshots. So because mine is Affliction, I put Affliction here. If like I said, if you've got the headshot perk down here, you may want to go with the Mist Monster and Boss Killer up here, which could potentially be really good for you because the damage to Afflicted will not help you out. The damage to Slow and Snared will not help you out, and a stunned, staggered, or knocked down targets is so infrequent that it would not help you out either. So I would make it a Mist Monster Killer and just use that with your headshots and try to get as many headshots as you can. The headshot perk, this is where it gets a little bit different, where you could build this in a couple different ways. So right here, you could go with crit rating like I have, and then another crit damage up here. This gives you a 43% crit chance and a 210% crit damage. You could also go here with headshot damage because this does already get increased headshot damage on it. This would just increase that even more. So that is another possible way you could go with this. A third possible way would be to go damage. I probably wouldn't do damage and then another damage up here, but you could do that. It's not necessarily a bad way to go on this weapon, but I would probably go either crit rating with crit damage or go with a headshot damage here and then another damage perk up top. We just went over this with the critical damage up here. You could also put crit rating here and crit damage down here, depending on how your weapon rolled. So just try to look at these before you start spending that precious reperk and make sure that you're not wasting reperk and having to re-roll several of these. The only other option you could go here would be a fire rate, in my opinion, but because this is a semi-automatic rifle, it's all dependent on how fast you can pull that trigger. This is a 9.93 shots per second, so if you can pull that trigger fast enough, then by all means go ahead and increase the fire rate, but I would not go this route as the fire rate on this is already pretty good, and you most likely will not be pulling that trigger that fast. Here, you could go with reload speed or magazine size. I would not go with durability, as this is pretty worthless on most weapons. Once the weapon breaks, you can always just make a new one. Weapon stability can be nice on some weapons. On this particular weapon, it doesn't really benefit you much, as it is a semi-automatic rifle and it has pretty good stability on it already. So your only options here are really reload speed and magazine size. I probably would recommend going magazine size over reload speed for most people in this. However, going reload speed, if you find yourself smashing that reload button quite often, you might want to go reload speed. It does get the reload down to 1.3 seconds with my current setup that I have, which we'll take a look at in a minute. As far as elements, you can go with any element that you want, so this is totally up to you. If you have a nature weapon that you already like, put fire on it. If you have a water weapon you already like, and a fire weapon, you might want to go nature, and so on and so forth. So this is totally up to you as well. So let's go ahead and jump into a game here. I will be going in with my normal setup as an urban assault. So let's go down here and take a look at that. I will be going in with urban assault, master grenadier for the extra 24% assault rifle damage, and double agent Evelyn as my final slot. This is what I normally run because I like having the cluster bomb. So let's jump into a mission and see how this weapon works out. All right, so here we are all loaded in. We've got our Ranger equipped. So let's take a look at how this thing fires. It is a 2-round semi-automatic burst assault rifle, so you do have to pull the trigger every time you want to fire it. It does have one of the longer ranges for an assault rifle, and so the damage drop-off is much farther away than most assault rifles, so you can get a little bit farther away from your enemies. As you can see, my reload speed is very, very fast, 1.3 seconds on this one, because I did put the 75% reload perk on it, which makes it reload a little bit faster. So it's great for taking out smaller husks, but we'll have to see how it performs up against a Smasher. So let's go see if we can find some smaller husks to test this thing out on. All right, we've got a small group of husk right here that we can test this out on, and a couple of husk up here as well, including a couple of blasters. Let's see how quickly we can take out a blaster here. The extra range on this weapon definitely does help out. Keeps you a little bit farther away from them as you are taking them out. And I am reloading quite often with this weapon. I feel like I am just constantly reloading with it. Which makes me feel like the extra magazine size would be a little bit nicer, so that I don't have to worry about reloading every single time I kill something. But let's go see if we can find a Smasher and really test it out. All right, we got ourselves a sleeping Smasher here. Let's see if we can take this thing out and see how this weapon performs against a Smasher charging at us. With the extra range there, that was kind of nice, but we were not able to actually take him out with a single clip. It looks like we are going to have to shoot him a couple more times to actually take him down. So it's about a clip and a half or so. So it seems like this would benefit probably from having the 75% clip size rather than the reload speed, as I was not able to fully take a Smasher out with a single clip. So let's give our final thoughts on this weapon. All right, so there you have it. That is the Ranger. My final verdict on this weapon is I probably would not spend the resources to perk this thing up and level it up, as there are better semi-automatic assault rifles. Specifically, the Hunter Killer is going to be better for you. It's going to use less ammo and do more damage per shot. If I were to rebuild this, if you really wanted to get this weapon and you wanted to rebuild it, I would definitely go with the magazine size rather than reload speed so that you could take out those Smashers. And I probably would go with the headshot damage and damage on here rather than going with the crit rating and crit damage. I would say that that would be a better overall build, as it is fairly easy to tag those headshots with this weapon, and the range on it is a little bit longer. So that is the only benefit to it, is that the range here is 5120 versus most other assault rifles that are around 4,000 or 3,500. So you do get a little bit more range out of this, but overall, the benefits of the range do not outweigh the less DPS that you get out of this weapon compared to other assault rifles. So anyway, that's it for this video. If you guys like this video, please, like, subscribe, follow the channel. I do stream every day on Twitch at twitch.tv/Kriddle. If you would like me to make one of these for you so you can try it out yourself, or any other weapon in the game, feel free to come on by, where I do stream this game quite often, and you can jump into a game with me and give me the materials, and I will make you this or any other weapon in the game so you guys can try it out before you go and waste your time leveling it up and perking it up and then deciding that you don't like it. So take care, and thanks for watching the video.